But today we talk about how AI can actually help medical education to transform the character of the person or the doctor. A good medical education is actually a good character education. When I heard that, I thought it's worth coming from England to Pakistan to Lahore to hear that. I remember my father, he was a doctor, child specialist. He used to finish his clinic very late because he used to solve some family problems of people in the community as well. So the people think the doctor was just a wise guy, trustable, will not cheat. And that is the notion we grew up with. And that is the notion we want to carry. But AI is giving you an opportunity to cheat. Let me be blunt. 𝗵𝗂𝗰𝗹 has inspired me to be blunt today. It's a tribute, by the way, it's a compliment. So I am being blunt. AI gives you an opportunity to cheat. The temptation is there. And how do we avoid the temptation? And how do we keep our integrity? This is exactly what I'm going to discuss today. So the perspective today we're going to discuss is that how can we integrate artificial intelligence in medical education? And that is a challenge. And the question I'm going to try and answer is how to maintain ethical standards while embracing this power. So AI integration. I think this goes without saying that the knowledge is being incorporated in medical curriculum. I think AI knowledge. In fact, the knowledge is not the issue now. The issue is the integrity, the leadership, the empathy, the eye contact with the patient. Let's go down to micro level. The eye contact with the patient. How do we make a warm eye contact with the patient? Knowledge, patients come to you. If there's an educated patient, they will come and tell you 10 causes of headaches. And they will say, I've got the first one. And they said, I have these tests already done. Can you start from here? So they have got the investigations done. That's my practice in London. Patients come to me with many of the investigations. I'm going to order already done and dusted and ready with the results. So that is where we start. Now, this is going to happen in Pakistan very soon. So patients are going to categorize you. This doctor is aware of AI. This doctor is not. Because people are using apps. They're listening to TV, the news channels and all that. So the doctors are going to be divided. This doctor, yeah, let's go to him or her. He or she is aware of some knowledge, advanced knowledge. So please be aware that this change is going to, if you don't embrace it, it will exclude you. I repeat that. If you don't embrace this change, it will exclude you from a group of doctors who know AI. So the challenges are that the traditional concept of academic honesty are being tested. This is what we've discussed this morning. The line between assistance and cheating is blurring. People say, I'm learning from ChatGPT. No, you're not. You're copying the content into your presentations or the papers. But where do we stop doing that and how do we benefit from that? Let's see. So the focus on character is very important. I'm glad this topic has come up. Instead of talking about process websites or process conferences, we are talking about character conference. And then the future doctors need to be very morally strong because they've got temptations more than the previous doctors had. When I was growing up in a medical school, I had to read Gray's Anatomy. How could I cheat? How could I cheat? If I had option to cheat, I would have thought about it. Let me be honest today. But I know I had no option. So I couldn't cheat. So people now can cheat. So the ethical use of AI is basically the responsible use of knowledge that is coming to you. Do not own it, but declare that I have learned from it and give a reference. And attribute that this part of my paper, presentation, my document is actually AI extracted. This is what I think. If your presentation goes along this way, that I took this help from ChatGPT, I'm copying it here, but I believe this is wrong. Trust me, people will start listening to you with a lot of authenticity in their mind. And of course, honesty, respect, fairness, and trust. I don't need to promote you on that. Academic integrity now extends beyond avoiding plagiarism. People who write articles, plagiarism is a very small issue. The intellectual theft is a bigger issue. Plagiarism is words. Intellectual theft is the concept. in clinical use, I think AI, I just want to give you this flavor that in diagnosis, therapeutics, medical admin, preclinical triage, I'm doing workshops in many countries on these topics, that how AI is going to be part of your practice. It's going to be the third person in the room. Doctor, patient, AI. Doctor, patient, AI is the actual new clinic. And then accountability, AI cannot sign off. That's a good news. I think Masood Sahab said very well that AI took help. So AI cannot sign off a prescription. The good thing is that AI does things in bits. So that's a whole curriculum. AI does this, but cannot do that. Does this, cannot do that. So basically the human has to sign off. And that is where we take responsibility and ownership. And then the clinical decision making, I would not let an AI write the process from start to end. Listen to me, write a prescription, say go and get the prescription. I want a doctor to sign it off. The reason is I can blame someone. If I can blame computer, the maximum I can do is throw off my laptop out of the window. But a doctor, a human person, has to take responsibility. And of course, patient privacy. I'm a big promoter of that. In all the software, I design softwares, healthcare softwares for the last 20 years. Redaction and anonymization is a doctor's ethical responsibility. If I can't do that, I have to take express permission of the patient in my presentations. I see videos of patients being shown in the lectures. Do we ever write under the slide, I have taken permission of this patient? Can we not promote this culture, please? If you show a picture of a patient, please write at the bottom for the young doctors that this doctor took the permission of the patient before they saw the patient walk in the corridor. Let's make it a habit. Let's start from today. Consent, again, and then the patient-centric data management. The whole, in my telehealth softwares, the patient has the control to delete the data anytime without the consent of doctor. So doctor doesn't have to be asked if the patient says, look, I don't want you to be seeing my data again. Patient can log in, delete the data, the file is gone. And that is the ethical responsibility we need to transfer to the patients to gain their trust. So the ethical decision making, two things. Whenever you make a decision, there should be no harm to the patient and there should be authentic representation. If I write down simply saying, look, I took this segment from ChatGPT, that part doesn't belong to me, but I like it. I believe this is true. You're authentic. Rather than saying in my slide, putting that part there and not claiming or not advising people where this came from. Empathy, of course, the doctor's eye contact. I don't know why I keep talking eye contact. When I do teleconsultations, I don't look at the screen when I'm talking to the patient. I look in the camera. Why? Because people will see, other side will see me talking to them. The common mistake we do in telemedicine is people look at the screen while talking. Please take your eyes off the screen. Look in the camera so other person can feel the warmth and the truthfulness, the authenticity in your eye contact. And critical thinking, do question output. Now, how would you question output from AI? Only if you have a broader knowledge of the subject. If you only have the very basic definition level of knowledge, you cannot question AI output. In fact, I got trapped in one of these things 2 years back. I quoted an abstract in my presentation from AI. It was a medical legal case, and I presented that in a court. I was very behind time, so I couldn't check the authenticity on that day. Actually, there was no paper. It was an abstract made out of AI as hallucination. So please be aware, sometimes things are made out of that AI. There's no such thing exists. So please check the authenticity as well. And of course, redefining, the doctor has to be redefining his practice now. Now, this means a lot. This sentence is actually a conference topic. How do doctors redefine their practice when there is so much AI around? I can spend a whole day on that, but just one sentence. That doctors have to be aware where not to use AI, if I can sum it up. Where not to use technology. If you know that part, the rest is fine. If you know that the ship doesn't have to go in that ice rock, Titanic wouldn't have been filmed. So just know what not to do if you don't have time. And of course, character education builds future doctors maintain human connection. That is the whole thing. My father, I remember when he used to come home, he was never tired because he had solved family problems. So transparent disclosures, that's very important. Proper citation, please mention, I took this from that page. Even if you want to quote that page, please do that. And then balanced learning. It's a supplement, it's not a replacement. I want to actually go to one slide. Time is short, but I want to spend time on this slide. This slide is the whole summary of my talk, and I really want to share. I spent last two hours last night to draw this slide for you. So the medical content generation, we all do that. Shaukat Sahab here, he sees a lot of articles, PowerPoint presentations, we do some abstracts, emails, etc., etc. That's all medical content. There are three things. If you're writing on some article, some disease, some case study, we have to have core knowledge and concept. Fine, we got that. If we don't have the broader understanding and view, we cannot fill the space. We can write the bullet points, but we cannot fill the space. And then the third part is more important, how to present all this in a normal, expressible way. So you got core knowledge, you got detail, but you don't know how to present. So AI use is here. First person, let's say there are three people, compare them all together. One person knows the knowledge, he has got the broader view, he knows how to present. The second person has the first two things, but he doesn't know how to present. And the third person only has a very basic knowledge. Now, all three of them using AI, and all three will have different impact. Let's take a look and try and relate this to yourselves. In the audience, see where do you fit. Let's talk about first person. The first person, AI output will not surprise him or her because he or she already has a broader knowledge of the subject. But he or she is doing it because of time efficiency. And that person will gain from ChatGPT usage because either he or she will be authenticated that, look, I thought I knew that and that's coming up. Or I didn't know. That person will benefit from that. So the broader knowledge is important. And then the dependency is very small because whenever that doctor has a time available to him or her, he or she will revert back to making own presentations. So person number one, less dependency because it's only the time constraint. That's why this person is using AI. The second person, can I go back? Yeah, the second person. Now the second person has no way to make a presentation. There are many professors sitting here who've got so much broader knowledge and all that, but they cannot make a presentation or they don't have time to make a presentation. They will use Gamma, PPT, other softwares which can actually make a presentation for them. So they have a dependency of formatting. If they want to change the content, if they want to replace the file, they will ask someone else. So there is a dependency, and that is where the learning should come. The third person is in real trouble. That person is dependent on ChatGPT or Claude because they don't have the time, they don't have the will, they don't have the interest to learn deeper the subject. So they will depend on that, and they will have a very high dependency on the ChatGPT, and that is where we are in trouble. So I suggest that people who are in that category take my warning that very soon people will find out when you can't take questions from audience, when you can't expand on the knowledge. You will talk very glossy terms. When someone says, tell me more about this or tell that thing, you will stop. So just last two slides to show you that how I anonymize, like in this case, the 𝗵𝗵𝗂𝗰𝗁𝗵 name has been anonymized to something else. The pointer has a real problem. I'm trying again. In the second one, whenever you upload a document into the system, make sure you use an application that has anonymization available. Because that document will go to ChatGPT, and ChatGPT will use that information to churn and remember. And then make sure that you take consent of the patient when you're recording a consultation and make it explicit. So you take the consent and you tick the box and you make sure that the information you're taking is auto-deletable and no file is being stored on your computer. It's a big offense in UK to store patients' pictures on laptops. So these are the references if you want to know more how I prepared my presentation. And I think, thank you very much for very patient listening. I appreciate that. Thank you.